Hello friends, this video on noun and pronoun case part 2 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Case. Simple, right? Okay, so now let's move on to the fourth type of case, that is possessive case. A noun is said to be in possessive case if it shows possession. What is possession? Possession is more about ownership, like a particular thing belongs to me, a particular thing belongs to Shweta, a particular thing belongs to her. So this belonging or ownership is what we call as possession. So let us look at this example. Rama's son is going to school. So if you look at this part, Rama's son, what does that mean? That means that the son belongs to Rama. Correct? So it shows Rama's possession over the son. Right? So it's Rama's ownership. Correct? So Rama's son is going to school. So in this case, if you look at this Rama's, so here this is a noun with an apostrophe S to show possession, and this is said to be in possessive case. So normally in possessive case, the nouns are followed by apostrophe S. So that apostrophe S actually shows possession of that noun on a certain thing or on another object. Okay, so let us see how are the possessive cases or possessive nouns formed. Now, when it comes to the singular nouns, so in singular nouns, we just put apostrophe S after that particular noun. Let us say cat is a singular noun, so we just put apostrophe S, cats. That means something that belongs to the cat. Similarly, Rama is a singular noun. We just put apostrophe S to show Ramas. That is something that belongs to Rama. In similar way, if you have plural nouns ending in S, for example, girls or students. So these are plural form of nouns and they already have S at the end. So what do we do in this case? So in this case, all that we need to do is we just put an apostrophe after the S. So if it is girls, you just put an apostrophe here. So the girls gang, that means the gang belonged to all the girls. Similarly, students. So for any plural noun which is ending in S, if you want to form its possessive form, just put an apostrophe at the end. That's it. Plural nouns not ending in S, for example, men, women. So what do we do in this case? Again, the same thing. We just put apostrophe S like this. What about nouns with multiple words? For example, Maharaja of Jaipur. So even though there are three words, but all together it represents just one thing, right? Just one person. So when you want to say that, the bed of Maharaja of Jaipur, so that means the bed belonged to the Maharaja of Jaipur. So how do you write that? Maharaja of Jaipur's. So you do not write Maharajas of Jaipur's. You just write Maharaja of Jaipur's daughter. Right? So here also you just put apostrophe S. Closely connected nouns. For example, if you have a coffee shop named Jack and Jill's Coffee Shop. So in this case, you don't say Jack's and Jill's Coffee Shop because Jack and Jill are two closely connected nouns. So they are basically coming together. So they are coming together as one unit. So therefore, putting apostrophe S only after the last noun is good enough. So you do not need to write Jack's and Jill's, right? However, if there are connected nouns showing separate possession, in that case we might need to put apostrophe S separately. For example, if you write something like this, Jack's and Jill's books were lost. So in this case, just notice the difference between these two scenarios. In the first situation, the coffee shop belonged to Jack and Jill. So Jack and Jill is like one single unit. They are closely connected. So we had just put apostrophe S at the end. But in the second example, if we are trying to say that Jack's books were lost as well as Jill's books were lost. So in that case, we are talking about books which belong to Jack. We are also talking about books which belong to Jill. So we are not talking about books which were common to both of them. So we are talking about separate possession of Jack and Jill. So in this case, we have to write Jack's and Jill's books were lost. So see, English is a kind of language where you have certain set of rules, but at the same time, you need to know what exactly you want to express so that you can apply the rules accordingly. So let's say if you want to tell something like this where you have two different nouns and you want to show different possessions of both of these nouns, in that case you have to put apostrophe S to both the nouns. But if you are talking about two nouns but you are talking about an ownership which is like a combined ownership of the two, in that case you can just put apostrophe S at the last noun. That's it. So these are some of the rules that you need to follow to make possessive nouns. Okay, now let's talk about possessive pronouns. How are possessive cases formed in case of pronouns? Now there are a few properties associated with possessive pronouns, like they do not contain apostrophe. So there is no concept of apostrophe. So what are the pronouns? Like I, you, he, she, they, we. So these are the pronouns. Now if I have to say something that belongs to me, I would not say I's or you's or he's. So that is not there. So they do not contain apostrophe at all. Some of the examples of possessive pronouns: mine, ours, yours, his, hers, theirs. So this is how we write possessive pronouns. So basically if you see, these are completely new words and they are not really very much related to the pronoun. Like mine is used to show possession of I, but mine and I are two different words. Similarly, we and ours are two different words. You and yours are two different words, right? So these are new words altogether. Correct? So now let us look at some of the examples, like how do we use these possessive pronouns. So let us see how do we use them. So let's say if we have to say, this book is mine. It actually means that this book belongs to me. This is my book, right? Similarly, you can say this book is ours, or this book is yours, or this book is his, or this book is hers, this book is theirs. Right? So in this fashion, we use these possessive pronouns. Now, these are all standalone words. So if you look at these words, like in case of possessive nouns, we need to put apostrophe S. Somewhere we just need to put apostrophe. So, but here all these words are like standalone words and they show possession. Now, I'll give you one example to show that how are these possessive pronouns important. So let us say if you want to say something like this. This is my book, not your book. Let's say this is what you want to say. Now, a better way of saying this would be, this book is mine, not yours. So this one is a better way of telling the same thing, and that is where you see the possessive pronouns play a very important role. Now, if you say these are just handful of possessive pronouns, but it is very important to know how exactly and where exactly to use these possessive cases. So where are possessive cases used? Names of living things. For example, the dog's leg was broken. So this is absolutely correct. Why? Because here we are talking about the leg of a dog. So dog here is a living thing. So therefore, it is right to use possessive case here. However, if you want to say that the book's color is red, so here the book is a non-living thing and therefore this is not correct. So how do we say this? The color of the book is red. So whenever you are showing possession, the possession has to be of a living organism, right? So the dog's leg, or the man's son, Rama's daughter. So in all those cases it is fine. But if you are talking about possession of a non-living thing, there you should not use apostrophe or you should not use possessive case. Rather you have to use the preposition of. The color of the book is red. So I hope you understand this, right? So this is very important that you know where to use possessive cases and where not to use them, right? Let's take another example. Like Rama's mother is ill. So do you think this is right? Absolutely, because here Rama again is a living thing. So Rama's can be used. It can be used as a possessive case. So Rama's mother is again perfect. Let's look at the next set. Names of personified things. For example, we live in the nature's lab. So here you might get a little confused that nature here is not exactly a living thing. But then how come nature's lab is correct? That's because nature here has been personified. So nature is something, nature doesn't have a lab as such, right? But nature has been personified as a person. So we are assuming nature as a person and then we are saying that we all live in the lap of nature. So since nature has been personified in this case, therefore we can use possessive case here. So we can say nature's lap. Similarly, if we say we are proud of India's heroes. So what do you think? Is that correct? Yes, because here again in this case, we are personifying India. The moon's beauty can't be described in words. So here again, the moon has been personified. So even though moon is not exactly a living organism, but moon has been personified or moon has been assumed to be like a person about whose beauty we are talking about, right? So here moon has been personified and therefore moon's beauty again is the correct word to use. The next set would be nouns denoting time or weight. For example, I will change my routine in a week's time. So in that case also we can use possessive case because a week is denoting a time or in a year's time, in a month's time. His house is a stone's throw away. So a stone's throw. So what is this? It is not just about, here we are not showing a possession of a non-living thing because stone here is a non-living thing. But stone's throw doesn't mean that the throw belongs to the stone. That is not the meaning. Stone's throw here is denoting a distance. So whenever we are using a non-living word to denote distance or time or weight, there again we can use possessive cases. And finally, when we want to denote proper nouns that denote trade, profession or relationship. For example, Meera studied at St. Joseph's. So here St. Joseph's basically talks about a proper noun that is name of a particular institution. So there also we can use possessive case. So to summarize, you would see that we can use possessive cases for names of living things. So to show possession of living things, names of personified things where there are certain non-living things which have been assumed to be person, nouns denoting time, weight or distance, and finally proper nouns of which could be names of places or names of institutions, right? So that was about the usage of possessive case. Now here we talk about possessive case versus the preposition of, because we saw that in a number of cases we use the apostrophe to show possession and in certain cases we use the preposition of to show possession wherever we cannot use the possessive case. However, in certain cases both of these are possible but the meaning changes. For example, let us see what exactly we do. So possessive case would always mean ownership. Please remember that. Let us look at this example. If you say Rama's pen, is that correct? Yes, it is correct because we are showing possession of the pen by Rama. Rama owns that pen, right? But if you say pen of Rama, what does that mean? So here when we say pen of Rama, that doesn't actually show possession, right? So if you want to say that the pen belongs to Rama, you have to say the pen belongs to Rama. So whenever it is ownership, you will use possessive case and not of. When it is possession by a living thing, of course. Let us look at the next example. Mother's love and love of a mother. How are these two different? When we say mother's love, it means the love that a mother has for her child. So that love is the possession of the mother. So that mother is the owner of that love which she has for her child. So that's mother love. Now when you say love of a mother, I would not say that this is incorrect, but this has a different meaning altogether. Love of a mother is not necessarily the love that a mother has for the child. It could also be the love that the child has for the mother. So I hope you understand the difference. Let us look at, let us write an example. Let's say if you write this sentence, Rohan sacrificed his job for the love of a mother. That means Rohan sacrificed his job because of his love for his mother. Right? So here it is talking about the love that Rohan has for his mother. Right? So when we say love of a mother, it could be the love that a mother has for the child, or it could be the love that the child has for the mother. But when we say mother's love, it is always the love that is possessed by the mother, or the love that is owned by the mother. So it is always the love that the mother has for the child. So please understand these minute things so that when you write English, you write grammatically correct English. Okay, now let us look at one last example. Armies win. Win of the army. Which one is correct? So here if you see, do you think that the win is a possession of the army? It is not a possession exactly, right? Army is like a group of people and all of them fought together to win. So win is not an object which is possessed by the army. So here we are not exactly talking about possession. So army's win is not the correct way to express that. Rather we would say the win of the army. So it is not about possession. So wherever you have something that shows ownership or possession, then you can use possessive case. However, again, the rules that we have for the usage of possessive cases, that needs to be followed, that where all we can use the possessive case. So once you are clear with all of this, I think you are clear with case. So I think the only complicated part that you have in case is the possessive case, because here you have a couple of rules, a couple of exceptions which you need to know. So my advice would be, as you go through this video, as you go through the examples that I have illustrated throughout the video, try to practice, try to speak a few sentences using cases and try to speak correctly, try to write a couple of sentences. So if you do that, you will actually practice and you will actually get a hang of it. So I hope you would have found this lesson useful, and I'll see you very soon with a new topic. Now let us quickly look at a couple of exercises. Identify the noun or pronoun case. The postman brought me a letter. So in this case, what are the nouns that we have? Postman, me, and letter. Postman is a noun which is also the subject. So it is a nominative case. Brought me a letter. So letter here is the object, like the direct object. So it is the objective case. Me, which is a pronoun here, is an indirect object because it comes after the verb and before the direct object. So this is in dative case. Let's look at the next example. Sachi gave her book to Reena. So Sachi is a noun, book is a noun, and Reena again is a noun. So Sachi here is the subject, so it is a nominative case. Reena is the direct object, so it is in the objective case. Book here comes after the verb and before the direct object. So it is the indirect object and hence it is in the dative case. Get me a taxi. So in this case, it is an imperative sentence. That is a sentence which gives commands or orders. So therefore, the object, like you get me a taxi, that you is silent here. You is not expressed here. So in this case, get me a taxi. So taxi is the direct object here. So therefore, it is in the objective case. And get me. So me is not the subject here. Rather, me is the indirect object. So therefore, me is in dative case. I love to read children's books. So I is the subject, so nominative case. Children's, what is this? This is possessive case, right? And books is the object here, so it is in the objective case. So that's cool. Let's move on and try a few more. My daughter goes to a dash school. Girls or girls? Now a school doesn't belong to one girl, right? It belongs to many girls. So it has to be plural girls, and since it has to show possession, so it will be girls' school. I love to read dash poems and dash novels. So poems written by Tagore. So Tagore's poems, and again novels written by R.K. Narayan. So R.K. Narayan's. So here both of these need to be in possessive case because the poems belong to Tagore and the novels belong to R.K. Narayan. So these are showing two different possessions. So therefore both of these words need to be in possessive case. The dash needs to be repaired. The house's roof or the roof of the house. So here the roof, you cannot use possessive case because possession is shown to a non-living thing, which is house. And we cannot use possessive case in this way. So therefore, we have to use of. So we say the roof of the house needs to be repaired. And the last one, I will change myself in a dash time, in a year's time. So we are talking about 1 year. So it has to be year apostrophe s because we are talking about a year's time, right? So these were some of the examples, and I'm happy that you have been able to solve all of these because I'm sure that you have also solved these. So I hope that you would have found this lesson on case useful. Now what I would advise is, as you go through this lesson, as you go through the examples that I have illustrated, try to create your own examples, write 3 to 4 examples on your own. Try to speak 2 to 3 sentences using cases so that you get used to it, so that you start using it in your spoken English as well as written English. And I'll see you all very soon with a new topic.
Thank you. Please visit examfear.com for free quality education. You can learn with a simple 4-step learning process wherein you can watch video lessons, you can ask your questions, you can refer notes, and you can take a free online test. We have content for class 6 to 12 on physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology along with practical videos. So please subscribe to our channel for daily updates. Thank you.